File item 215, pass and retain. File item 216, AB 2687. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2687 by Assemblymember Ashajian and others, enacting the vehicles.
Mr. Ashajian, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise to present AB 2687, which amends current statute to require all passenger for hire vehicles such as Uber, Lyft, and taxi cabs to follow the same blood alcohol content guidelines as commercial drivers. Current law requires commercial drivers to have a BAC of less than 0.04. However, passengers for hire vehicle drivers may have a BAC of less than 0.8. Lowering the BAC level to 0.04 for passengers for hire vehicles will ensure the safety of passengers as well as other vehicles on the road. Respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Mr. Lackey, you are recognized.
Yeah, I just wanted to apologize to the author from San Luis Obispo for confusing his bills. I already made my statement to this bill, and it certainly deserved your support.
Thank you, Mr. Lackey. Seeing no additional discussion on the item, clerk will open the roll. All members voted, desire to vote. All members voted, desire to vote. All members voted, desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tie the vote. Ayes 68, no 0. The measure passes. File item 217, AB 2715. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2715 by Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia and others, enacting to energy efficiency.
Mr. Garcia, you may open.
Mr. Speaker and members, AB 2715 would require the Department of Community Services and Development to develop and administer the Farm Worker Energy Efficient Housing Program. California's farm workers are the backbone of a $46 billion agricultural industry that provides food not only to Californians but to people around the world. While at one time the farm worker population was characterized by its mobility, today it has become much more stable and permanent in the areas in which they reside. California's 800,000 working farm workers, unfortunately, cannot afford to reduce their reliance on carbon-intensive energy sources. Without additional resources and assistance, it will be very difficult for farm worker families to make the expensive investments in retrofitting homes for increased energy efficiency, fuel-efficient vehicles, and other low-carbon infrastructure and technologies. The bill will ensure that our farm worker families have the same access to the energy-efficient programs as it relates to their housing, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Seeing no discussion or debate on the item, clerk will open the roll. All members voted, desire to vote. All members voted, desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. Ayes 66, no 0. Measure passes. Pass and retain on file item 218. File item 219, AB 2189. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2189 by Assemblymember Irwin and others, enacting the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy.
Ms. Irwin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 2189 is a district bill that would allow the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy to include portions of the city of Moore Park within its boundaries. This bill will further the goals of the City of Moore Park and the Conservancy to increase recreational and educational opportunities, as well as to preserve open space. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Ms. Irwin. Seeing no debate on the item, clerk will open the roll. All members voted, desire to vote. All members voted, desire to vote. All members voted, desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. Ayes 60, noes 5. Measure passes. File item 220, AB 2199. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2199 by Assemblymember Campos and others, enacting to sexual offenses.
Ms. Campos, you may open.
Mr. Speaker and members, AB 2199 would provide district attorneys an optional sentence enhancement of 2 years if the adult holds a position of authority over a 14 or 15-year-old minor and is found guilty of a felony sex offense. Cases of adults in position of authority pursuing and often seducing young minors are frequent. Just in April, a female San Jose High School badminton coach was arrested and fired for allegedly having sexual relationships with a 15-year-old male student. Currently, a 25-year-old gymnastic coach is being tried for statutory rape for his student, a 15-year-old girl in San Diego. When a person leverages their position of authority to groom, exploit, and have sexual relationships with children, they should receive the harshest sentence than someone who steals a car or writes a bad check. Our children deserve better. We can do better. I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Ms. Campos. Seeing no debate on the item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 66, noes 2. The measure passes. File item 221, AB 2225. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2225 by Assemblymember Lowe, enacting related to state employment.
Mr. Lowe, you may open.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 2225 will contain the provisions of the Memorandum of Understanding entered into by the state employer and ASME Local 2620, State Bargaining Unit 19. Once negotiated and agreed upon, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Mr. Allen, you are recognized.
Question to the author.
Without objection.
Can the author elaborate for the benefit of the floor actually what is contained in this MOU?
I'd be happy to address that in close.
Thank you very much. On my own time?
Yes, sir.
If it is found in the close, as I believe the case to be, that this particular MOU that we're voting on is empty and is actually a spot bill, which I believe it is. We voted on many of these on the floor. These are negotiations that happen between the legislature and the state workers of California. This is a decision that we cannot send off to some other group, whether it be the Senate or anyone else. This floor has the right to negotiate our own contracts and to know what's in those contracts before we vote for them. If there is nothing in this MOU, I urge a no vote.
Seeing no additional discussion or debate on the item, Mr. Lowe, you may close.
Thank you very much, members. And Mr. Speaker, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 43, noes 21. Measure passes. Moving to file item 222. SAB 2246 by Mr. O'Donnell. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2246 by Assemblymember O'Donnell and others, enacting related to people health.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Today I am pleased to present AB 2246, which will help teachers and school staff help students struggling with thoughts of suicide. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among young people aged 10 to 24 years of age. The Center for Disease Control reports that 17% of high school students have seriously considered attempting suicide. Certain students are more at risk of suicide than others, including students who are disabled, LGBTQ, in foster care, homeless, bereaving, or those with mental health or substance abuse disorders. Despite the risk of suicide among students, California schools are not required to have a suicide prevention policy. AB 2246 requires all school districts to adopt a suicide prevention policy and provides guidelines for their development. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Mr. Lowe, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and members. I want to thank my fellow colleague from Long Beach for this legislation. Certainly this will help ensure that all school personnel will be able to assess risks for all students. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no additional discussion or debate on the item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 56, noes 2. Measure passes. Mr. Calderon, you are recognized for your procedural motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request unanimous consent to suspend Assembly Rule 63 to allow the following bills to be taken up today without reference to file for the purpose of third reading. The bills are File Item 38, AB 2818, File Item 49, AB 1664, File Item 50, AB 1673, File Item 51, AB 1674, File Item 54, AB 1695, File Item 56, AB 1704, File Item 80, AB 1903, File Item 82, AB 1588, file item 83, AB 1672, and file item 84, AB 1754.
Ms. Waldron.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Without objection.
That is without objection. The clerk will note. Members, we are moving to file item 223. That's AB 2310. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2310 by Assemblymember Santiago, enacting the state employees.
Mr. Santiago, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 2310 would ratify the provisions of an MOU between the state and State Bargaining Unit 18, the psychiatric technicians, represented exclusively by the California Association of Psychiatric Technicians. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Mr. Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question to the author.
Without objection.
Thank you very much. As noted previously, this is, again, an empty MOU. I don't know any business that likes to sign contracts with its employees that essentially are blank, and they just sign them at the bottom saying, okay, I'm going to pass this responsibility on to someone else. So the question to the author is very simple, and hopefully you don't choose to not address this in your close. Can you please tell us, for the benefit of the floor and for everyone watching at home, what is contained in this MOU that you're asking us to vote on right now?
Mr. Santiago, would you like to address that in your close? Or?
So all my closes.
Seeing and hearing no further discussion or debate, Mr. Santiago, you may close.
I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
With that, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 44, noes 23. The measure passes. File item 224, AB 2363, Lowe. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2363 by Assemblymember Lowe, enacting the state employment.
Mr. Lowe, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and members, for allowing me to present Assembly Bill 2363, which contains provisions of the MOU entered in by the state employer and the Union of American Physicians and Dentists. Once negotiated and agreed upon, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Mr. Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Well, as was just mentioned by the author, that he did mention there's been some negotiations and some agreements. So according to my analysis of the bill, there's nothing in this MOU. So again, I would ask for the third time on the third bill, if the author can please address either now or in his close what's actually contained in this MOU, what negotiations he is referring to, because if not, ladies and gentlemen, everyone on this floor that's voting for this is doing a disservice to your constituency, and you're doing a disservice to yourself. This is not a party line vote. This is not being a Republican or being a Democrat. This is about actually retaining the power to approve your own employee contracts. With that, I respectfully ask my question to the author. What exactly is in this MOU? What are the negotiations he has referred to? If you could please illuminate this for the benefit of the floor. And if he has no answer, I would call upon every member, regardless of your political party, to vote no.
Mr. Lowe, you may close.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. If my gentle colleague from Orange County would read the analysis as we all have before us, I believe that he will make the conclusion himself. I respectfully ask for aye vote.
The clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 43, noes 21. The measure passes. File item 225, AB 2664, Holden. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2364 by Assemblymember Holden and others, enacting into public post-secondary education.
Mr. Holden, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I thank you for allowing me to present Assembly Bill 2364 today to clarify existing law granting in-state tuition for certain non-resident special part-time high school students enrolled in community courses, and allowing the community colleges to claim state apportionment funds for these students. Last year, I introduced Assembly Bill 288 to ensure that high school students could access community college courses through dual enrollment programs to prepare them for the transition to college. As we acknowledged last year in passing Assembly Bill 288, dual enrollment is critical to helping at-risk students succeed in high school and go to college. However, there is some uncertainty between community college districts whether or not non-resident high school students can qualify for resident tuition, as by definition they have yet to graduate and qualify for resident tuition levels for college. This policy encourages student participation in dual enrollment opportunities. Current law also prohibits community colleges from claiming state apportionment for these students, including when occurring under newly permitted college and career access pathway partnerships with school districts. This policy discourages the development of dual enrollment partnerships between school districts and community colleges. Assembly Bill 2364 clarifies the 2015 dual enrollment reforms and removes barriers to ensure all deserving students have access to dual enrollment programs. AB 2364 passed out of policy committee with bipartisan support and no known opposition. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Mr. Allen, you are recognized.
The author.
Without objection.
I'm just curious, in our public education system, which is already impacted, keep in mind Prop 98 funding means we have to send a ton of our state money to education for the benefit of our California taxpayers and the benefit of all of our California citizens. Why should we give people that are not here legally access to our subsidized state education rates?
Mr. Holden.
It's very clear that you are a very curious fellow today. And it is my belief, as we had this bill before us last year, as under 288, it was envisioned that it was covering all children who are part of the public system. In implementing 288, it became clear that there was an unintended consequence that certain young people were falling through the cracks because of their status. This bill is designed to clarify that.
Second question, the author of my aye.
Mr. Allen.
Then wouldn't it be intelligent for a non-resident person that wished to go to our California community colleges, wouldn't it be intelligent and prudent for them to unlawfully become a resident of California so they could access the subsidized state rates?
I think it's very clear that every young person has a different set of circumstances, and we're addressing this, I think, in a fair and lawful way. And it's being respectful to the fact that these are young people, resident or non, who are in our public school system, and we're giving them the opportunity to be covered under a very appropriate program to allow them to have access to community college courses as the neighbors sitting next to them in their classroom.
On my own time?
Yes, Mr.
Thank
Allen.
you, Madam Speaker. Look, education is a wonderful thing, and everybody should get the absolute best education possible. However, there are limited state resources to pay for our education, and these should be used on California residents and citizens first. According to the California Supreme Court, in upholding the constitutionality of the provisions of the original bill that all this was related to, which was AB 540, it relied heavily on the fact that non-resident students were receiving benefits not by reason of their residency, but on the fact they had attended California high schools for 3 or more years. Under this bill, AB 2364, a would-be AB 540 non-resident could move to California, immediately enroll in high school the very next day, and immediately concurrently enroll in a CCC, a California Community College, without having resided here for 3 years, let alone 1 year or even a week. This disposes with the clear notion that even if AB 540 is recognized, the importance of a substantial period of physical presence in California is no longer important. Ladies and gentlemen, we have, it might seem like on this floor we have the ability to tax California taxpayers an unlimited amount of money, but we already have the highest tax in the country, and whether you agree with that or disagree that that's a good policy, those taxes should be used for the benefit of our residents and for our citizens.
Mr. Chavez, you are recognized.
Yes, I'd like to stand and address AB 2364. We heard it in committee. And I want to be clear with what this does, and I think it's important. We've identified some time ago that we thought all children should have an education. And that's why at K through 12, we allow all children, regardless of their status, to have an education, because we know that society is best served when everybody has an education and can go forward. Now, ladies and gentlemen, We know now, because of the rising technological challenges we have, with the issues of being competitive in a world market, that we need to ensure that all our residents are capable to compete. That is why we have concurrent enrollment between the K through 12 system and the community colleges. What this allows is allow all children in the K through 12 system to take advantage of the community colleges. This is a benefit to all of California to do this. Now, I know there's some issues. People are talking about taxpayers and who's here and what's there. We are changing this. That's what we do on the legislative floor. We make laws. And this law is to recognizing the original traditional thought process that all children, regardless of how they became here, should be educated, and it gives them the tools to go forward and be good taxpayers and stewards within our society. This is what Republicans have always talked about, on the quality of an individual to go forward. This bill depicts exactly what we as Republicans support. I'd ask all Republicans to support this bill. This is a good bill. It's a well thought out bill, and it recognizes the educational and economic challenges we're facing in this state. I ask for your aye vote.
Mr. Alejo, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First of all, I rise to commend the comments made by my colleague from Oceanside, but also to address the unenlightened comments by my colleague from Huntington Beach. I mean, it was literally rhetoric that we heard in the mid-1990s, anti-immigrant rhetoric that I think is unbecoming of any Californian. We moved away from that decades ago, and to now hear members on the floor to repeat that same anti-immigrant rhetoric when we moved away from that, and there should have been lessons learned a long time ago, it really showed that we haven't come very far. This bill...
Mr. Allen, for what reason do you rise?
Point of
what? Mr. Allen. Mr. Allen.
He needs some help here.
Point of order.
State your point of order.
Personal privilege. I think that my good friend, my colleague from Mr. Alejo, Salinas, just threw an accusation that I was anti-immigrant, and that's absolutely incorrect. So let me state clearly for the record. Hold on. Let me state clearly for the record. I am very pro-immigration. This has nothing to do with immigration or immigration status. Thank you.
Your point is well taken. Mr. Alejo, you may continue.
Members, on this floor, for years now, we have recognized and implemented policies that help integrate immigrants because we recognize their value, their contributions, their hard work. And as my colleague from Oceanside said, the best policy that we could have for our young people, and we tell them that every day, stay out of trouble, don't get involved in gangs. And now that we're trying to address policies that could help them further their education, be leaders, contribute to California, and to hear my colleague make comments against such policies, for me, I find that disturbing, and I find it unconscionable. We should continue to support policies that provide greater educational opportunities for our young people, no matter what their immigration status. The truth is that they are Californians. They're paying taxes. Their families are paying taxes, whether it's income, sales, and property taxes. They're paying just as everyone else is in California, and they deserve to have those equal opportunities to have access to higher education. I ask my colleagues, reject the rhetoric that was stated earlier and support this important bill.
Ms. Olson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I rise to clarify what seems to be some misunderstandings on what this bill is. The predecessor of AB 2364 was AB 288 last year, which my esteemed colleague and I joint authored. The goal of that bill was to allow high school students, California high school students, to have greater opportunities for dual enrollment with community colleges in order to expedite their time to degree completion, to get them into the workforce so they could graduate with a diploma sooner than they are allowed to otherwise today. Or not a college degree, but a certificate program in a career technical opportunity. This was a great bill. That bill passed with wide widespread Republican and Democrat support. This bill is simply seeking to close a loophole that we did not discover last year. It's a great bill. It allows our high school students to get their certificates in career technical programs and to get their college diplomas sooner than they otherwise would. I urge an aye vote.
Mr. Holden, would you like to close?
I'll take that as my close and ask for your support.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 53, noes 2. The measure passes. File item 226, AB 2377. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2377 by the Committee on Public Employees, Retirement, and Social Security, and act relating to state employees.
Mr. Bonta, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. AB 2377 will be used to ratify the provisions of a memorandum of understanding between the state and an as yet unspecified state bargaining unit. There are 21 state bargaining units, and the contracts for 15 of those units expire around the end of June of this year. As in past years, the plan is to move this bill along in the process so that it will be available when the collective bargaining agreements are reached. When the bill is amended to contain the provisions of the agreement, it will receive a full hearing. It will receive a full hearing in the Assembly PERS Committee prior to being voted for on the floor of the Assembly. I respectfully ask for your aye vote on the bill.
Mr. Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Now, for the fourth time, I rise against an empty MOU, and I would pose two questions to the author. The first is the question that I posed 3 times that has gone unanswered, which is, what exactly...
Mr. Quirk is objecting to the question, so unanimous consent is withheld.
Unanimous consent to what?
You have 4.5 minutes on your personal time.
I think we need to vote on that, Madam Speaker.
No.
Or otherwise,
you can make a motion.
Make a motion to ask a question to the author.
To suspend the rules.
To suspend the rules to ask a question to the author.
To ask a question, yes.
That's actually really strange. Okay, so now we're having members appealing rulings to ask questions on the Assembly floor.
Colloquy is not required on the floor.
Okay, well, I would like to appeal the decision of the chair.
I didn't issue a ruling yet. You have to have a motion. Point of order. Mr. Jones, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I make a motion that the questioner be able to ask his question. Thank you.
Mr. Jones moves. Mr. Harper seconds. To suspend the rules to allow Mr. Allen to ask a question of the author. Takes 41 votes. Mr. Allen's asking for an aye vote, and Mr. Jones is asking for an aye vote, and Mr. Calderon's asking for a no vote. Clerk will open the roll. Mr. Allen's asking for an aye vote, and Mr. Calderon's asking for a no vote. Okay. Mr. Allen is asking for an aye vote, and Mr. Calderon is asking for a no vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 27, noes 44. The motion fails. Back on your own time, Mr. Allen. Mr. Jones, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Parliamentary inquiry. If the chair...
State your inquiry.
Thank you very much. If you could please instruct the House on how a questioner is to proceed when their question is objected to. And this is the first time this has happened in years, so I think it would be for the benefit of the House, clarification would be in order. Thank you.
Every time a member asks a question of another member, it's a suspension of the rules, so that is why. It is. That's why you're given without objection. That's why we say without objection. Mr. Quirk objected. So, Mr. Allen, you are now back on your own time. 4.5 minutes.
Well, it'll please everyone to know that I'm not going to take my full 4.5 minutes. Just very simply, this is the fourth time we've seen an empty MOU come to us, and I would. There's two issues with this. The first is these are MOUs that have nothing in them, and it was mentioned by the author that this is going to go up to the Senate and will come back and be vetted through the PERS committee. But the question is, if that is the approach in the first place, why are we even letting this bill off the floor? We have our own PERS committee in our own time. Why is this not done in the proper order as other bills are as well? So I'm hoping that he would address that in his close. I don't ask that in the form of the question, however. Thank you very much.
Mr. Wagner, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let's see if we reached a new low in this House. Question of the author.
Without objection.
Is this an empty MOU?
Seeing and hearing no... Mr.
For
Bond,
anyone
would
who
you like
wants
to
to ask me
answer?
a question, I'll address it in your close. My close.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, Mr. Bonta, will you like to close? Oh, Ms. Grove, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wasn't going to speak, but we have reached a new low in this House. I just got some numbers. At the last election cycle, the Democrat vote was 3,606,183 members.
Mr. Calderon, you are recognized.
For...
Madam Speaker, please ask my good colleague from the Bakersfield area to please stick to the merits of the bill. That has nothing to do with the bill.
Absolutely, and I'll tie it in, I promise. But 3,600,000 votes for 52 Democrats and 3,266,000 votes for 28 Republicans. There has to be some type of balance for the people that we represent in the state of California on this floor as well. So the bill in chief makes
Dr. Weber,
a good
you are
point.
recognized. Dr.
Yes.
Weber, please state your point of order.
I find the information interesting. However, it is not relevant to this particular bill. The votes that we made over the last year, 2 years, 3 years is irrelevant to what we're doing on this particular bill. So I ask my colleague to please address the bill.
Dr. Weber, your point is well taken. Ms. Grove, will you please stick to the merits of the bill?
It was simply information to provide to you that my colleague or our colleague from Orange County should have the right to ask the question of an author. There's basically equal voter representation throughout the state of California, and to ask a question of the author on the bill...
Ms. Grove, the suspension of the rules is not debatable. We're
Okay,
on
but
the
to
bill.
ask
Please
a question
stick to
about the bill, and so the question on the bill, question of the author, what is in the bill that we are all voting for? It's like you're asking us to vote on something that has nothing in it, and you're asking us to ratify the information that's in the empty bill. There's no language in the bill. The bill hasn't, or the language in the bill, the contract hasn't even been negotiated.
Ms. Grove, do you have a question?
No, I'm on my own time speaking about the bill. The language in the bill has not been negotiated, with all due respect.
You did say you had a question, and I didn't say without objection. So I'm just trying to get to, if you're on your own time.
I'm on
my
my own time.
3 minutes, 50 seconds left.
Thank you. So the bill, again, is empty. It's a negotiated contract that has not yet been negotiated that is required to be ratified by this body. This body, if they approve this bill, is ratifying a contract that does not exist. That's all we're asking, is for you to provide the information and put it, we talk about transparency and sunshine and all of those things in this body, and this bill particularly has zero information in it, and you're asking us to ratify a contract that does not exist. So the only thing that we're asking you to, with all these questions that have been asked to the author, is to put the language in the bill regarding the negotiated contract and let us all approve the contracts or not approve the contracts when they're actually negotiated so we can ratify them, because that's our job. Thank you.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, Mr. Bonta, would you like to close?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker, colleagues. Thank you for the debate and the concern. I appreciate it. A couple of things just to clarify. This vehicle, because of the constitutional deadlines that we are under, must move today, or else there will be no chance at any time to see the provisions of the agreement that is ultimately reached. There hasn't been an agreement reached yet, and if you want the collective bargaining process to be able to take its course and allow for an agreement to be reached between the state of California and a highly valued group of employees, we need to move this bill now. Now, your concern is we haven't seen the provisions of that agreement. The answer is you will. we will have a chance that will come back. As I mentioned in my opening, it will come to PERS. It will come to this floor. We will see every single provision of the agreement before you need to vote on it. So we need to move this bill now in order to allow the collective bargaining process to take its course. Of course, if you do not agree with that process, you may vote no, but I respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you for your consideration.
Yes, thank you. The author was answering my question, Madam Chair, and I would like to compliment him for a very sincere, succinct, and to my mind entirely understandable answer. That's the way debate ought to be handled in this House, if I may say so. Thank you.
Yeah, he should. Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 45, noes 22. The measure passes. File item 227, AB 2516, Wood. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2516 by Assemblymember Wood, enacting medical marijuana.
Dr. Wood.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. Last year, this body passed the Medical Marijuana Regulation and Safety Act, which for the first time set up a regulatory framework for California's medical marijuana industry. These regulations are designed to address the environmental, public health, and public safety concerns that have surfaced within the industry. By creating a clear line between the good and the bad actors, law enforcement will finally get the clarity they've needed for nearly 2 decades. The key to this new framework success is ensuring that new and existing businesses get licensed and come into regulatory compliance. Current law lumps all cannabis cultivation sites that are 5,000 square feet or less into one license. AB 2516 would create a cottage sublicense and encourage the Department of Food and Agriculture to develop regulations that are appropriate for the thousands of small growers that are currently growing much less than 5,000 square feet. AB 2516 rounds out the cultivator licensing structure so that the MMRSA accurately reflects the business activity going on throughout the state. This bill does not in any way affect local jurisdictions' authority to regulate the industry as they see fit. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no further discussion or debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the vote. Ayes 53, noes 5. The measure passes. File item 228, AB 2640, Gibson. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2640 by Assemblymember Gibson, enacting into public health.
Mr. Gibson, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and members. I rise to present Assembly Bill 2640. This bill had bipartisan support in committee to seek to stop the spread of HIV by ensuring patients are more informed about the prevention. In 2013, California is the second highest number of new HIV diagnoses among all 50 states. Current law details what information should be provided to patients after an HIV test, such as presence of numerous treatments and options or preventative practices, but this does not include preventative medication. AB 2640 will provide those high risk for contracting HIV with written information about the methods that can lower the risk of contracting this virus, including preventative measures and medications. I respectfully ask for a vote. I vote on AB 2640.
Ms. Waldron, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I rise in support of this bill. There's so many new medical technologies available to those who have AIDS, HIV, and I urge an aye vote for this, so those folks who come in, even though they may not test positive at this time, they can get more information that was not available before, but is now on things that can be done to prevent it. Thank you.
Mr. Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would also like to rise in support of this bill. I think it's a great bill. I know that the analysis that may sit on many of my fellow Republicans' desks says to oppose this, but I think this is a great bill. I think it makes all the sense in the world that people should get this information, especially that are at high risk. I think if you take a look at this and make your own decision, you'll come to the same conclusion. Please support this bill, and my compliments to the author for bringing it.
Seeing and hearing no further discussion or debate, Mr. Gibson, would you like to close?
I'll take his comments as my close. Thank you.
With that, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the vote. Ayes 49, noes 15. The measure passes.